So the next thing is you've been negative on Tesla recently. I'm just switching this because it's just an auto company. When we're in Detroit, so a lot of auto companies are here, a lot of Ford. So, and I know you've driven Tesla, but your differing viewpoint, or not differing, probably, I don't know, the majority, so let's hear it.
Well, wait a second. I just bought a Tesla, the one with the wings, because my son is an electrical engineer and he's really into wanting to work in an electric car company, and my wife wanted one, so I got her one. And I went to buy it. I got to tell you the story. I buy a lot of cars, and so I sit down with the sales guy and say, look, what's the price on this thing? Because Tesla, you order like color and a bigger battery, smaller battery, I can't remember. There's no options, basically. And then he says, this is the price, and we don't lease it, you just got to pay for it. And I said, well, this is your price. Now we're going to get Mr. Wonderful's price. And he said, in the history of this company, we have never given a discount to anybody. And I considered that a personal challenge. After a couple of hours of negotiating, what was my discount? 0.
Wow.
There is no discounts on Teslas. There's the price, and the price is the price, which is very interesting. So I tip my hat to Elon on that, because either you want it or you don't. Now here's the thing about the car. We can talk about the stock in a minute. Last weekend was the first time I decided to drive it, and I drove up to my lake house in it. And I turned on the no hand deal, which I thought was really cool. The car makes you put your hands on the wheel every 90 seconds, or it gets pissed off. And it starts by so I have my account in the car. You set yourself up as a user and you get your own key. My wife has an account. You generally put your destination in the GSP, into the positioning system, GPS, and it knows where you're going. About 20 minutes in, I say, okay, drive me there. And so it starts driving on its own. I'm saying, this is freaking cool. Because, I'm on the phone, I'm looking at other stuff, the car's doing great, you
have your Samsung phone, you got your
everything's going great, and I'm not, it's driving, it's doing the driving. Then it starts making noise. And it says, Mr. Wonderful, put your hands on the wheel. So I do that one time, and then it does it again. And I'm a little late getting to the wheel, and then it does it again. And then it says, you've been a bad person, and you can no longer use this feature for the rest of the trip. I felt like calling Musk myself. I was so pissed. I just paid for the friggin' thing, and it did I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. The car was basically cutting me off from the feature. I mean, what the,
you paid for this thing.
I know, but
no one tells you what
anyways,
websites
I loved it. I love the car. Now, the stock is crazy. I mean, why would you pay that multiple for a company that makes no money? And Elon Musk is a freaking genius. He really is. And I tip my hat to him, and that car's a beautiful thing. But think about what you're doing. You can buy a basket of companies right here in Detroit at 11 to 12 times and get a dividend. And they're also all over automated cars and battery cars and everything else. Or you can pay an infinite multiple for a stock that makes no money. I mean, I don't get it. That's my problem.
No, and I was shocked.
By the way, I get a lot of hate mail for this shit. I gotta tell you.
You're probably gonna get more, but I was shocked when I found out that you had one, because I didn't think you had one.
I like the car. Now I have to fight for it every weekend, so I'll take the Tesla. No, you can't. It's mine.
Because what you get of these Uber fans say Tesla's a good because they've driven it, it's an experience. You're bringing the sanity to it and saying this is bullshit.
Yeah, so I think the stock is probably worth about, well, I don't know what it's worth. It's a speculation. We have to figure out if it can ever cash flow. Can it ever cash flow? Because they got to build these cars and make money on them and start. Right now, the market's giving it a pass to the Amazon story. It'll fund indefinitely because you've got to believe that it's going to get scale at some point. But BMW's coming, Audi's coming, and those boys know how to make cars. They're not limited by 3,000 a week. Those guys can make 3,000 a minute, I'm sure, if they wanted to, because they've been doing it for decades. So there's a risk of competition here. And I would say something else about the auto sector, in particular to this audience. Do you know the name of the #1 manufacturer of rail cars in America? Nobody does. Why? Because it's a commodity. It has 4 wheels on it, goes on a track, it gets pulled across the country. Go forward 15 years in automotive. Are you going to care what brand takes you from here 5 blocks to work? The unit that pulls up and you get in it, that you just hailed on your car, on your cell phone, and then it drives you somewhere? Would you give a shit what the brand is? No. If you take the market capitalization of every automotive company on earth, including Harley-Davidson, and stick it in, it has underperformed the S&P now for about 14 months, dramatically. So you're agnostic to brand, agnostic to company or product or electrical or whatever it is, doesn't matter. The whole sector is rolling over. Why? Because it's turning into a commodity. That's what is happening, in my view. It'll be no different than a rail car, and the successful companies will be the ones that can get the highest quality product at the lower price out, and many of them will be right here in Detroit. But I don't think brand is going to mean anything to anybody in 20 years. You don't know the brand of the rail car, not one of you. It's going to be the same in automotive.
I'm just amazed, like, you know those stats and stuff. Like, see, Mr. Wonderful is just not
I look at sectors every day.
You're just not just a pretty face on TV. You actually know the
you
data.
can go look up any of the ETFs that have cars in them, plot them against the S&P, and see what I mean. The market is making a decision every day by every investor saying this sector is going to get commoditized. It's not bad. It just means that the execs running these companies have to start to scale big time, cut costs, and realize they're building a commodity.